Think back to your school days and picture the courtyard during tiffin break. If you look past the games and the shouting and zero in on the loudest, most popular kid in the yard, you'll probably find someone a lot like Mario. Mario positioned himself squarely at the center of a massive crowd every single day. He spent his breaks loudly boasting about his weekend and happily passing around pieces of his lunch to anyone who would listen. For Mario, friendship was a numbers game. He measured his worth by the sheer quantity of kids who surrounded him, believing that a bigger crowd meant he was universally loved. But Mario was falling for a trap. He was looking at a large audience of kids eager to share his lunch and assuming that every one of them would be there if the lunch ran out. That evening at home, Mario's grandfather listened to him brag about his endless roster of friends. Grandpa had his doubts, and he decided to challenge Mario's perspective. He offered Mario a wager, putting a plate of his famous spicy fruit chaat on the line. Grandpa bet that most of those kids were merely companions who enjoyed the show, not true friends. To prove it, Grandpa went up to the attic and returned with his hands positioned as if carrying a heavy object. He pretended to hand Mario a magic, completely invisible chair. Grandpa explained the rules. Because the chair was invisible, it would be extremely tricky to use. But if Mario could take it to school and successfully sit on it, the chair's magic would reveal his real friends. Mario eagerly accepted the challenge, convinced he would easily win the fruit chaat. He grabbed the invisible chair and headed off, walking right into a test of who would actually reach out to grab him. The next day in the schoolyard, Mario gathered his usual crowd for what he promised would be an amazing magic trick. He carefully positioned himself over the invisible chair and tried to sit. Because he couldn't see a thing, he missed the mark completely and fell straight onto his backside in the dirt. Instead of offering a hand, the large circle of kids erupted into loud laughter and teasing. Trying to brush off the embarrassment, Mario nervously laughed it off as a slight technical problem. He tried to sit again, but fell even harder, drawing louder jeers from the audience. To this crowd, Mario's struggle was just a free comedy show. They were happy to be in the audience, but weren't interested in helping him up. After several more painful falls, Mario was bruised and exhausted, but he refused to give up, preparing himself for one final, desperate attempt to sit on the magic chair. He closed his eyes, held a deep squat, and tightened his muscles, bracing his body to hit the hard ground one more time. But the impact never came. Instead of hitting the ground, Mario found himself suspended perfectly in midair. Mechanically, this central circle representing Mario is shown falling rapidly downward. Then, 3 solid supports slide in. They glow green and push upward, absorbing the force to instantly stop the fall. The supports morph into people. The magic was hands reaching out. When Mario finally opened his eyes and looked behind him, the real source of his midair suspension became clear. Holding him securely under his arms and by his back were Guneet, Asma, and Deepa. These 3 quiet classmates had rushed in to stop him from hitting the dirt again. While the rest of the courtyard stayed back to watch and mock him, these 3 stepped directly into the center of the embarrassment to make sure he didn't fall. Grandpa knew that falling is a natural filter. It clears away the noise and leaves behind the people who actually show up. In that moment, Mario saw the difference between 100 kids laughing at a fall and 3 kids who chose to catch him. That evening, the atmosphere at Grandpa's house was warm and celebratory. Mario, Guneet, Asma, and Deepa sat happily together, digging into a massive bowl of spicy fruit chaat while Grandpa told them stories. Mario had technically lost the bet. His group of friends was much smaller than he thought. But by losing the wager, he discovered 3 people he could actually count on. Next time you're on the school ground, look at the people around you. Ask yourself who among them would be there to catch you if you started to stumble. A crowd can make you feel popular, but it's the people who hold you up when you're down who are the friends worth keeping for life.